Hello my YouTube friends. After a wait of what seems like forever, OBS Streamlabs is finally out for the Mac OS. And if you've never used it on the PC and you're brand new to it, I'm going to go through the features and show you how it works today. So let's get to it. If you're looking for tools, tips, and tricks that can help make you a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you know when we have new content that comes out. The first thing you're going to notice about Streamlabs OBS is that it really doesn't look that much different than OBS Studio. You have a bunch of buttons on the left-hand side. I'm going to walk you through what those do. But for the most part, the same functionality exists in Streamlabs OBS as you're going to find in OBS Studio. The top button on the left is your broadcast button. The button right below that is called Themes, and it takes you to Streamlabs OBS Themes. Below that, you have a chat bot. If you're using Streamlabs OBS, you can use their chatbot, and there are a heck of a lot of awesome features that their chatbot does offer. Below chat, you have the App Store, and if you sign up for Streamlabs OBS paid service, you get most of this stuff for free, and there's a lot of really nice stuff in here. Now if we go down towards the bottom on the left, you can go and click this little watch button, and it takes you to your Streamlabs OBS dashboard on the web. Below that, we have a layout button. And this allows you to change the panels for your live feed. There's a whole bunch of presets over here on the left-hand side. You can see when I click around, it shows a bunch of different ones. This one here is basically similar to the standard OBS layout that you're going to find on OBS Studio. In fact, I'm going to arrange it right now so it's just like OBS Studio. And then when I click over to the live broadcast settings, you can see that it looks almost exactly the same. Below that icon on the left, you have your studio mode. It works basically the same as OBS Studio. Below that, you have your help. It'll take you right to Streamlabs OBS help screen. And then you have your login, log out button below that. And then you have your settings right below that. And you're going to notice in general right off the bat that you can import your OBS setup already. If you just click that button, it'll import everything you already have set up in OBS right into Streamlabs OBS. It's pretty freaking cool and it works really well. Below that, you could set up your stream services. On output, it looks pretty fancy, but it's basically exactly the same as OBS Studio. Audio is also basically the same. Video, basically the same. Your hotkeys is pretty standard, just like any other application to set up hotkeys. In advanced, you can tweak your video and audio and recording settings, set your stream delay, all that kind of stuff. Under scene collection, if you create some amazing scenes or overlays or anything like that, you can export them here and actually sell them on the theme store. Below that, you can set up your notifications. This is going to be stuff that you may want to know about while you're live streaming. You know, like if you're dropping a lot of frames or you're getting skipped frames, things like that. You can set it up so that it'll notify you if that sort of thing is happening. If we go down to appearance, we can set it up for day or night mode. Night mode's pretty nice actually. It's not too distracting on the eyes. You can change the location of your live chat dock if you want to. And then we have remote control. I'm going to cover remote control in a completely separate video, but it's a really cool feature that you're probably going to want to check out once you get to know a little bit more about Streamlabs OBS. So that is basically your settings features. Now I'm going to connect this to my YouTube account. And I'm going to show you one other cool thing. If you look over here on the far right, you can click this little arrow button and it pops out a chat. So your chat window is listed right there. It makes it really easy. Now I'm going to start creating a very simple scene just to show you how this works. To do that, I'm just going to click the plus button in Sources. And the first thing I'm going to add here is my overlay. So we're going to add a media source, and I'm going to call this overlay. I'm going to go ahead and select my overlay. I want this to loop since it does have animation, and we want it to restart on playback. We're going to click OK, and there is my overlay from my gaming streams. I'm going to click that plus button once again. Now here's the cool thing about Streamlabs OBS. If you use a lot of Streamlabs widgets in OBS Studio, well, you don't have to use them in browser source in Streamlabs OBS. They're just listed right here on the right-hand side. So the first one I'm going to select is the jar. I'm going to add the sources. Here you can go in and you can manage it, set it up any way you want. Then I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to just go ahead and size it up the way I want it to look. But it's really that simple. And then at the bottom, you see this little test widgets button. I can just click on that, and I can test how the widget works with donations, subscribers, super chat, memberships, whatever I want. Now I'm going to click the plus again, and we're going to go add another widget. We're going to try the donation goal widget. I already have one set up, so I don't really have to change much. All I have to do is click done, then I can move this widget where I want it. Then we're going to click the plus again. I'm going to add another widget. This time we're going to add the viewer count widget. And I click add source. And here you see one of the first flaws I've seen so far. When I clicked on add source, unfortunately, it closes down Streamlabs OBS, and I have to reopen it. So that's the first glitch I've caught so far on Streamlabs OBS. This actually happens to me 2 or 3 times here. I'm not exactly sure why, but the software just came out. You can't expect it to be perfect just yet. Maybe there's a couple of bugs in here. So I go back in and I'm going to add that viewer count once again. I'm going to move it to where I want it to go. It's really easy to set up these scenes and just move stuff around. I really like that. The last widget I'm going to add for now is my alert box. I had this set up already before as well. So I just click the alert box, then I click add sources. Then on the left in the alert box thing, I'm going to adjust what alerts I want it to alert to. And then I'm going to click done. We're going to toss it in there. And now I'm just going to test them to see that they work. And everything is working as intended. Pretty cool stuff. Next, I'm going to actually add my game in the background here. To do that, I'm going to go to window capture. I'm going to call it game. And you can see here all my options aren't listed. That's kind of a bummer. So I'm going to click show window shadow and show windows with empty names. Then when I click the drop down, I'm going to scroll down here and find my PS4 remote play. And it's going to tell me that the system preferences need to be updated. So I click open system preferences, and I'm just going to make Streamlabs OBS active for the screen sharing piece. And then of course Streamlabs has to be updated. It has to restart in order to do that. So I'm just going to click quit now, which prompts me to get this little error message from Streamlabs OBS. I click no, and then I'm just going to reopen Streamlabs OBS, and I'm going to right click on the game screen, and we're going to go back down and we're going to select the PS4 remote play, and now you can see it works. Now I just have to move it behind the overlay by just dragging and dropping it below the overlay, and then I can resize it and put it exactly where I want it. Now I have to add some audio. So I'm going to click the plus button, go to audio input capture, put game audio in as the name. Then I'm going to go ahead and click device, and I'm going to select the iShowU. If you don't know what the iShowU is, it's a way to add external inputs into your Mac that combines all the external audio into one device. Kind of a workaround since you can't have individual devices on Macs. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. Once I do that, I have to go up to my volume control and select the iShowU capture device. In this case, I'm going to select multi-output, which combines the iShowU audio capture device with an external audio source so I can actually listen to it on my stream. And now you can see in the mixer the game audio is playing. Good stuff. Next, I'm going to add my video in here. So I'm going to go to video input capture. I'm going to call this me video. Then I'm going to drop down device and select my cam link. And in preset, I'm going to select high. This should be 1920 by 1080. Then I'm going to shrink up that window to the size that I want it to be. And I have to add my microphone. So I'm going to click that plus again, go to audio input capture, click add source. Here you can see it already shows my game audio. So I have to go down to add new sources instead and check that. And now I can add me audio, click add sources. Under default, I'm going to select my cam link. That's where my audio comes from. Then I'm going to click done. You can see down in the mixer now my audio is working properly. This right here is my standard gaming screen. This is what I use as my main scene when I'm gaming. I'm actually going to add the 3 other scenes that I use here just to give you examples of other things that you can easily do in Streamlabs OBS. So the next scene I'm going to add is my coming soon scene. I'm going to plus click in the scenes window over here, and I'm going to call this scene countdown. In this countdown scene, I'm going to add an image, so I'll click the little plus above sources. I'm going to go to Image. Then I'm going to browse to the location where my image is, select it, and click Open. Then I'm going to click Done. Now you can see my image is here. I'm just going to resize it, move it around, make sure it's exactly how I want it to look. Next, I'm going to click the little plus in Sources, and we're going to add some text. I click the font button. Any fonts that you have loaded on your computer, you're going to have available here. We'll try this font. I don't know if I like that or not. Next, I want to add a countdown timer. This is actually not a Streamlabs OBS widget. This comes from another company called Enter Media. They're totally free. I'll leave the link in the description. I just pop over to their website. I go to their countdown timers. I'm going to select the one I want, configure that timer exactly how I want it to be configured, then click Apply, copy this code. Now I'm going to click the plus button. I'm going to select Browser Source. Then I'm going to paste that URL that I just copied into the URL here at the top. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Now I want to change my font. I don't really like the font. I'm going to change the text and the font a little bit here. I can just right click on it and go to Properties, modify the font and the text, and click OK. Now I'm going to add a little box background for the back of my video. This is pretty easy. I just click the plus button, go to Color Source. I'm going to call this Box. Then I'm going to change the height and width of my box. I'm going to select a color that I want. When I click Done, I can just move this box around, place it anywhere I want in my scene. The next piece, I'm going to add a video source to this, so I just click the plus button again, select Media Source and Add Source. I'm going to call this one Game Footage and click Add Source. Now I browse to the location where my game footage is at. I select that, click Done. Then I just need to size it in this box. Now I don't want to use the audio from this game footage, so what I'm going to do here is go down in the mixer where it says Game Footage, and I'm just going to mute that audio by clicking the little speaker button here, and that turns that audio off. Now I'm going to add another piece of audio instead. I just want some music over this. So I'm going to click the plus and sources again. I'm going to go to Media Source and click Add Source. Then I just call this one Game Music. You want to set this up to loop again. I'm going to go and browse to the local file, select it, and click Done. Now I have game music over my footage. To make this easier, my Be Right Back scene is basically the same. So what I'm going to do is on the right hand side where I have my countdown scene, I'm going to right click on that and select Duplicate. I'm going to name the new scene Be Right Back and click Done. Now Be Right Back is the name of a new scene that's included. I don't need the countdown in this new scene, so I'm going to select Countdown and click the little minus in Sources. It's going to ask me if I want to remove it. I click OK because I do. I also want to change out this text, so I'm going to select the Coming Soon. We're going to delete that. And I'm going to click the plus button, and we're going to add some text to our scene here. Select the text, add source. Now I want a new source instead, so we're going to select that. We're going to call this text Be Right Back or BRB. Add source. I'm going to select my font. I'm going to type in my text here, Be Right Back. Click Done. Now I'm going to just resize that text so it looks exactly how I want in the scene. And now my Be Right Back scene is all set up. That one's pretty simple. I'm going to resize everything just to make sure it looks a little bit different than the Coming Soon scene. We'll make the background a little bigger. And that's all there is to it. The Be Right Back scene is ready to go. Now I'm going to add one more scene. This one's going to be called Intro. Now in Sources, I'm going to click the plus button. And I click Image, Add Source. I can just select the background and add it. Now I want this one to be a lot different than the other scenes. So we're going to move this off to the right. And we're going to expand it. We want the Witcher logo here to be visible in the bottom right hand side. And once we get our image placed where we want it, I'm going to click the little plus next to Sources. And I'm going to go to Color Source. We're going to add that same box in here. So I just select the box and add source. Now I'm going to move this and resize it exactly where I want it. And that looks pretty good. Now we're going to click the plus in Sources again. And we're going to go to Video Capture Device. And I'm going to add my camera in here. So Me Video. Add source. I'm going to resize this so it fits in over that box we just put in there. And the only thing left to add on this scene is some audio. So I'm going to go to audio input capture. We've already created me audio, so I'm just going to select that and add source. And now this intro scene is all set up exactly how we want it. It's really that easy to set up your scenes. I could have just imported this from OBS like I showed you before, but what the heck. Now I'm going to show you how to add some transitions. Over the scenes window, you see this little gearbox. I'm going to click on that and go to edit scene transitions. Now I want to add a transition. I'm going to call this transition door slam, or maybe bore slam, apparently. I'm going to select stinger. Then I'm going to browse to the video file that I created to be my stinger. I'm going to change the transition point from milliseconds to frames so I can count out the number of frames before I want the transition to hit. I want the doors to slam shut, then the transition to happen, and then the doors to come open. So now I need to select my transition point. I just count out the number of frames I want it to go forward before the video transitions to the next scene. Somewhere around 17 seems about right. Now I select that in the left to activate that transition. Now when I go over and I select and move from one scene to another, you can see that transition happens. So that's how you would add a transition in Streamlabs OBS. That is a little bit different, and it doesn't seem to give you the ability to change the transition. You have to kind of go in here and mess with it. Not really fond of that. It's much easier in OBS Studio. Overall, I find Streamlabs OBS to be extremely easy to set up. Now, I haven't actually used it to go live yet. That's going to be my next test, but I wanted to give all those Mac folks out there waiting for Streamlabs OBS a little bit of a heads up on how it works and what the differences are. If you want to know more about how to create a soundboard in OBS Streamlabs or OBS Studio, check this video out right here. And if tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better YouTuber something you're looking for, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Fire Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.